Hello, good evening, and welcome to today's program. This is Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu, and thank you for being part of today's program. We are continuing with the topic that we started last week, we started 2 weeks ago, regarding the need for us not to give up, not to cave in, not to throw in the towel, not to let go our conviction, not to let go our goals and die halfway through. This is something that I believe is very important because life has a way of dealing hands to us that we don't expect. Life is fond of throwing a curveball for us, to us. But we have to determine that come what may, if there is one man left standing, that person is going to be me. If there is one person that will remain standing when all others have fallen off and all others have given up, that person is going to be me. So we have been looking at the need for us not to give up, not to let go our conviction, not to die before the fullness of our dreams, not to fade away before the fulfillment of our goals, of our dreams, of our desires. So we've been looking at the need for us not to give up. You see, it is very easy to strive towards attainment of our goals. It is very easy to set an objective for ourselves. It is very easy for us to have a dream, to have a passion, to have a destination that we want to arrive at. That actually is the vehicle that drives life. But you see, just because you have a dream, just because you have a passion, just because you have a goal, just because you want to go somewhere doesn't mean life is just going to fold its arms and say, well, now that you've decided, you might as well have a dream. No. In fact, it's like a trigger. It's like an invite that you send out. The moment you set yourself out to achieve something, life has a way of coming at you, of challenging you, of questioning you, of demanding from you more than you are willing, more than you are prepared, more than you are even hoping to give. And you see, all that life is trying to do is to question your resolve. All those questions is to ask you, are you really sure you want this? Are you convinced that this is what you want? How much are you willing to give to get it? How far are you willing to go to arrive at it? How much are you willing to sacrifice for what you believe, for what you dream of, for what your passion is? And that's what this is all about. But you see, most of the time, we start well, with full conviction, with full assurance, with the commitment to see it through, with the resolve to say, this is my life, and I'm going to make it work, I'm going to make it count. But great as that may be, there comes a time, there comes a point along the way in the course of our journey when things don't work out, when things don't plan out, when our plans seem to be failing, when all the challenges seem to be coming at us from all directions. All they are trying to do is to see if you will give up, if you will cave in, if you will throw in the towel, if you will surrender, if you will let go of what you are and who you are and your dreams and your passion. So we've been, for the past 2 weeks, this is our third week of looking at the need for you and I not to give up, the need for you and I not to cave in. So as I was saying, it's easy for us to start something. Most people start something and they passionately believe in it when they started. But give them a few months, maybe a few years. Somewhere down the line, it's like, well, I've really tried. I've given it my best, but it's just not working out. Maybe that is not for me. Maybe that is not my calling. Maybe that's not my dream. And reason and excuses will start to pop up. Well, I'm here tonight to remind you once again that giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option. And the reason I say that is the topic for tonight is going to be addressing why giving up is not an option, like we did last week, but we're going to take it further. So the topic for tonight is don't give up. Don't give up. But at the same time, watch out for the obstacles. Watch out for the hindrances. Watch out for those things that will, in most cases, come from within you to question, to challenge, to want you to come to a point of giving up. If you are not mentally prepared, if you and I are not mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically prepared for where we're going, the moment something goes down south, the moment something goes out of whack, the moment something starts to rock your boat and shake you up and start to challenge you and confront you, what we tend to do is we start to panic. We start to wonder, oh, but I made a plan. I have a projection. I had the dream. What is... And before you know it, a lot of people at that point, they will give up. They will give up in the face of struggle. They will give up in the face of challenges. They will give up under circumstances. But that's not you, and that's not me. You see, we see problems and challenges sometimes in life as if they are larger than life itself. And because we see it that way, we think they are way, way out there beyond our capabilities, beyond our means, beyond our comprehension, beyond what we can do, beyond all of those. And those things, they cause us headache and hardship. But you see, it is not the issue is not with the problem. The issue is not with the challenge. The issue is not with the circumstance that is confronting you and I. The issue is, how do you see it? How do you see it? What is your perspective of the challenge? How do you rate the situation that is confronting you? Because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So because we tend to see these things as if they are more than what they are, they're just a situation. Every situation will come, do their thing, and then they will go. But because we see them as if they are larger than life, we end up quitting on ourselves. We end up quitting on our dreams. We end up giving up on our vision. We throw in the towel of defeat because we have resolved, we have decided, we have made the decision, we have come to the conclusion that this thing that we're facing is stronger than we are. It's too difficult for us to handle. The burden associated with the journey towards the attainment of our objectives, we tend to think and feel, and in most cases even confess, that they are beyond our abilities. But that's not true. That is not true. There is no temptation, there is no situation, there is no challenge that you are facing today, that I am facing today, that is uncommon. We all deal with these things in different ways, different sizes, different shapes, and at different times. Your ignorance is your challenge. The question, the answer that you don't have to overcome that challenge, that answer is hidden in the question you have not asked. It's hidden in the book you have not read. It's hidden in the contact that you have not made. It's hidden in the thinking process that you have not engaged yourself in. There is no obstacle, no challenge that is bigger, stronger, greater than you or myself. But the issue is how we see them. Our perspective is what determines the outcome. You see, all these obstacles, all these challenges, call it whatever name you want to call it, you can find them under 4 categories. There are they come in 4 distinct forms to question us, to challenge us. The first way these challenges will come is they will come from within you. They will come from the inside of you. You will question yourself. You will challenge yourself. You will doubt yourself. You will reduce yourself. You will see yourself as not worthy. All those internally generated questions is the first way by which these obstacles, they confront us. These same obstacles that will cause us to want to change and to want us to give up and throw in the towel. Majority of them comes from within you. The battle for life, the battle for success, the battle for victory is not in the battlefield. It's between your ears. It's what's going on in your mind. That is where it starts from. The second distinct form of the challenges that we face is from the decisions and the actions that we take after we've made a decision. I remember what Eleanor Roosevelt said. She said, no man can make you feel inferior without your permission. No circumstance in life can defeat you without your cooperation. No situation in life is big enough to swallow you without you surrendering to it. So the second distinct form is from your decisions backed up by your actions. So the first one is those things that come from within you. The second one is from your decisions and your actions. The third one is that almost every one of us live in the world of other people. What will they say? How will they see it? What will be their reaction? What will be their response? How will they feel about it? Wake up and smell the coffee. This is about your life. This is about your dream. This is about your vision. This is about your goal. I am not saying you become isolated and live like Billy No Mates. No. But I am saying the only person that you owe an explanation to is yourself. The only person that you need to give account to is the man or the woman that you see in the mirror in the morning or whenever you look at it. So a lot of us, we give up on our dreams, on our hopes, on our vision because of what other people will say, think, or feel. The fourth distinct form of these obstacles that causes us to give up and throw in the towel, they are instances, situations that originate from within the challenge that we're dealing with. They are a manifestation. They are a representation of the exact challenge that you are facing. So we've said the four distinct forms by which these challenges and these obstacles will present themselves to cause you to give up is: number one, it will come from within you. Number two, it will come from your decisions and the actions that you take as a result of that decision. Number three, it will come from your dealings with other people, how you allow other people to determine your life. And number four, it will come from within the circumstance itself. I don't know which of these four you are dealing with right now. I don't know which of these four you are contending with right now. But I'm here to tell you tonight, irrespective of which one, in fact, I don't even give a hoot if it's all of them, there is a way out. There is a solution. There is a way to overcome. Just because circumstances come does not mean they have to overwhelm you. They come and they go. They're here today and they are gone tomorrow. So quickly, let's look at some of these obstacles that are originating from within us. What are some of these obstacles? What are some of these challenges that are coming out from the inside of us, that are self-perpetuating, that are self-created from within us? You see, the toughest and perhaps the most challenging obstacle that any one of us will face are those that come from within you. I'll say that again. The toughest and perhaps the most challenging obstacle that you will contend with, that will challenge you, that will confront you, that will shake you up, are the ones that come from within you yourself. You know, these obstacles, they are extremely challenging. They are extremely challenging because in order for you to fight them, you are almost going to be fighting yourself. In order for you to contend with them, you are going to be contending with yourself. In order for you to overcome them, you have to subdue yourself because they are coming from within you. And also what makes them difficult in some instances to overcome and defeat is because because they are coming from the inside of us, we are blinded to their existence. We refuse to acknowledge that they are there. We are blinded to the fact that we are dealing with these challenges. We say to ourselves, we deny ourselves that the challenges are facing us. You know, one of the reasons why most addicts don't get away from their addiction early enough or quick enough is because they are blinded to the fact that they are actually addicted. They will deny it. They will fight you over it. They will contend with you. They will explain to you why what they are dealing with is not an addiction. And so it makes it difficult for them to confront the challenge. So your first objective when you are facing a challenge, when you are facing a situation, when you are confronted by a circumstance, your first objective should be to understand, to identify what the challenge is, to identify what that challenge is. Because that will help you, that understanding will help you to, number one, accept it, that truly this is a challenge. It will also help you to understand how this challenge is affecting your life and your perception of the reality of that problem. So the number one objective of any challenge that you and I are facing is to identify what's the challenge. You know, you go to a shopping mall and there's a big signpost, the map of the shopping mall. But when you look all over that map, there's always a red button that says, you are here. You know why they say you are here? Because they want you to identify where you are so that you can then use that as a starting point for you to navigate to whichever store you want to go to. So the first objective is for you to identify what the problem is. The second objective is that you must learn to deal with them in an effective and resourceful way. You must resolve, you must submit, you must commit, you must decide that now that I have identified this problem, I need to deal with it. I need to deal with it effectively. I need to put every resources that is necessary, that is required to deal with it. Because until you do that, you won't be able to move in the right direction. You will not be able to move in the right direction. So quickly, let's look at some of these obstacles that originate from within us. Some of these obstacles, some of these challenges, some of these circumstances that comes from within you to almost cause you to give up and throw in the towel. The first obstacle that you and I will deal with is the obstacle of the lack of desire. Lack of desire. Lack of desire to succeed. Lack of desire to achieve your goal. Lack of desire to push through. Lack of desire to take the next step. A lack of desire simply means you do not have enough emotion behind your actions. You do not have enough emotion. You are not investing enough of your emotional self behind your actions. When it's time to wake up in the morning, a lack of desire will say, oh, do I really need to get up? When it's time for you to make that phone call, a lack of desire will tell you, oh, don't worry, you can do it later tonight. When it's time for you to reach out to your neighbor, to your colleague, to your friend, and make amends for what is going on, your lack of desire will say, well, why should I apologize to them first? And your lack of desire, your lack and my lack of desire is an indication, it's a confirmation that the goal or the objective or the purpose is not that the goal or the objective or the purpose that we are working on, the dream that you are pursuing, the goal that you are driving towards, it's an indication that they are not emotionally important to you. They are simply not emotionally important to you. And that is why you lack the desire to invest as much emotion as possible into it. It's the same thing with your relationships, with people you are in relationship with. People say they fall in love and then they fall out of love. It's a simple truth that the reason you fall out of love is because you have refused to invest your emotions into that relationship. When you are dealing with a lack of desire, because you are not investing enough emotion, it resulted in when obstacles come your way, you will not have the emotional reservoir available to successfully deal with it and overcome that challenge. And because you don't have enough emotional energy in your reservoir, the next thing is for you to say, you know what, it's not worth it. I'll just let it go. I can't be bothered. I've had enough. Just get me out of here. When you don't have enough emotional reservoir to invest in your goal, to invest in your dream, to invest in your purpose, the next step will be for you to throw in the towel, throw your hands up and say, you know what, maybe it's not worth it anyway. I'll go and try something else. The second inbuilt internally generated obstacle that causes people to give up and throw in the towel is a lack of self-belief. Now, that is completely different from lack of desire. Lack of self-belief. When you lack self-belief, when the strength of your conviction of yourself, when you lack self-belief, it resulted in you having little or no hope of achieving anything significant in life. When you don't have enough self-belief, you will not step out, you will not attempt, you will not try, you will not even want to get out of bed in the morning. The moment a situation is slightly out of the kilt, out of the norm, at the moment there is a change in the pattern, your lack of self-belief will tell you, oh, that's not for me. I can't do that. I don't have what it takes. You don't know me. You don't know where I come from. You don't know this. You don't know that. And your lack of self-belief will manifest in two ways. It will manifest in two ways. Number one, your lack of self-belief will make you believe that you are not good enough, that you are not worthy enough, that why should somebody like you even be considered? Why should somebody like you be qualified to achieve your goals, to achieve your objectives, to arrive at your destination, to fulfill your dreams, to achieve your purpose. So the first one is that it will make you believe that you are not good enough or you are not worthy enough. Secondly, your lack of self-belief will result in you lacking the willpower, the conviction, the ruggedity, the tenacity to persist, especially when things get a little tough and you are now traveling in the unfamiliar terrain. When it's time for you to buckle down and strap yourself up and ride it out, even though it's a bumpy ride, like I've been doing in Nigeria. I'm like, Jesus, get me out of here. I love my country, don't worry. But you see, when you lack the willpower, the moment you face a challenge, the next thing is you want to back out. So the first one is lack of desire. Comes from the inside of you. The second one is lack of self-belief. It comes from the inside of you. The third one again comes from the inside of you. It's lack of commitment. Lack of commitment, which is your inability to manufacture enough why, enough reason, enough why to move you through the obstacles that are standing in your way. Lack of commitment is an indication that somewhere within you, you can't come up with enough reason, enough conviction to see through the challenge that is facing you. And because you are not able to generate enough energy, to generate enough reasons, to convince yourself of the reason why you have to do what you have to do, of the reason why you should go through what you are going through, of the reason why you should endure the pain. If you don't have enough commitment to ask yourself those self-disciplining questions, then you're going to give up. You're going to give up when things get tough. You're going to give up when commitment level is questioned. When your resolve is challenged, you are going to give up. And you know why you give up? Because of lack of commitment. Because your initial expectations is not strong enough. You know, they say when the why is strong enough, the how will show itself. When the reason for you to do something becomes critical, becomes urgent, becomes convincing, becomes almost like a life and death situation, how to do it will manifest itself. And the issue with lack of commitment is that because it affects your expectation, because it has a direct link to your initial expectations, as you go along the journey of fulfilling your dreams, your expectations become reduced. Your expectation of success become reduced with time, reduced with challenges, reduced with situations and circumstances. And before you know it, all the expectations are gone. And because there is nothing you are expecting, you say to yourself, what's the point wasting my time and resources? I'm not expecting anything out of it. How many people do you know will invest their resources, their energy, their finance, their time and life into something that they're not expecting anything from? Even the charitable organizations are expecting something that for them to be so charitable. Another reason why you give up based on something that comes from the inside of you is because the flip side of commitment, you could be asking too many why questions. You could be asking too many why questions. You see, there is nothing wrong in asking yourself why you are doing this. But there are some why questions that are self-sabotaging, self-defeating. Some questions that you ask yourself, instead for them to propel you to your next level, they push you down to the level below you. And those questions, usually they come from the inside of you. They are self-sabotaging programming tools that focuses you on your inadequacies and on your weaknesses. Some of those why questions, instead of them to point you towards your goal, towards your dream, they point you towards your inadequacies, towards your challenges, towards your weaknesses, towards what you don't have, towards what you don't need, and they push you further down, down, down. And the point you think, I think I've convinced myself with enough reasons why I should give up, why I should throw in the towel. But it is not an option. Giving up is not an option. Because for most people, when things start to get a little bit wonky and a little bit challenging, when things are not going exactly the way they have lined it up, the way they have expected it, the way they have thought it through, that is going to be, forgetting that there are circumstances and situations that are outside of your control, and yet they have effect, they have a contributing part to your goal and your dream. The moment things start going the other way or out of kill, people start to think this is it. It's a lost battle, why fight it? This is it. It's a foregone conclusion, so what's the point trying? And that's when they come up with all the why questions. The why questions. Questions like, why does this always happen to me? Well, that is generalization in the first place. Because you don't know what's happening to your next door neighbor. You don't know what's happening to your colleague down the corridor. You don't know what's happening to even the child that is living in your house. But the moment you start saying, why does this always happen to me? You are already on the journey to giving up. Because unless that question is for you to objectively reassess your situation, that question is going to point you to say, oh, poor you. Self-pity will come in. Self-doubt will increase. Or you ask a question like, why do I always fail? Why do I always fail? Then the question is, who told you that you always fail? How did you arrive at that conclusion that you always fail? You woke up this morning, you think that was a failure? If it was a failure, you'll be 6 feet underground by now. Thirdly, you ask, why is this always so difficult? No, that's a wrong question. That is a wrong question because it is focusing you on your inabilities. It is not challenging you to see and seek and find and pursue and go after solution. No, it's telling you, oh, don't worry. It's always difficult. This time of the year, it's always a challenge. This time of the season, there's always this. Or you ask the question, why is life always against me? Seriously? If life is against you, we'll be singing in your homegoing service by now. So when you ask these questions, why does this always happen to me? Why do I always fail? Why is this always so difficult? Why is life treating me like this? Why is this and why is that? The moment you see yourself going down that road, don't even bother. Pack your bag and go home. Because these questions, they are not helping you. They cannot help you. They will not help you. They are self-sabotaging questions. They gang up against your dream, against your vision, against your purpose. And they will put you in a state of regret, in a state of emotional weakness. And before you know it, you say, I can't afford it. And that's where just stop now. And you give up on yourself, on your dream, on your purpose, on your marriage, on your vision, on your ministry. Don't give up. It's not an option. But watch out for the obstacles. Watch out for the potholes. Watch out for the pits that are everywhere. Watch out for the landmines. And tonight we're looking at the landmines that are originating from the inside of you, that are there to trip you up, to blow you up, to shatter your dream, to cause you to give up on yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. You remember last week we said, if you give up on your dream, you will live it the remaining of your life regretting, because you don't know what your life could have become because you've given up on it. Another internally generated reason why we give up is because we focus on what we don't want. We are too preoccupied with focusing on what we don't want, rather than channeling that energy towards what we want. Do you know it takes the same energy for you to smile and for you to cry? The same energy that is required for you to say no is the same energy that is required for you to say yes. The same energy that is required for you to say, I can do it, is the same energy that you will experience when you say, no, I'm not cut out for this. I can't do it. I can't achieve this. What about this? What about that? Rather than focusing on what you don't want, why don't you condense that energy to focus on what you want? And you know the irony of it? When you focus on what you don't want, what you focus on will develop. What you concentrate on will manifest. What you spend your time to will become your reality. Can you see how self-sabotaging that is? But it starts from within you. If you continue to focus on the things that you don't want, they will eventually be the reality of your life. Because all your thoughts, all your actions, all your behaviors, all your decisions will create an unresourceful state of weak thinking where you focus on what you don't want. And you know what? Weak thinking will continue to sabotage your progress. It will continue to cripple you. It will continue to pull the rug from underneath your feet. And it will stop you from achieving your goal, from achieving your purpose, from becoming all that you could be, all that you are destined to be, just by you giving up. Another self-inflicted and self-internally generated reason why we give up is because it's being riddled with negative emotions. When your whole essence, when your whole purpose, when your whole life is consumed by negative emotions, that's what you're going to have. Because your emotions play a major part in your decision making, which is a prerequisite for your action. And your action will always produce results. So if you don't want a bad result in your life, stop bothering yourself with what you are doing. Start by thinking. Start by fine-tuning how you feel about yourself, about life. Your emotions will ultimately play a major role in your decision making, which will eventually determine the actions that you take. Your actions will eventually become your character, and your character will determine where you end up in life. A negative emotion is a type of emotion that puts you in an unresourceful state It puts you in a position where your creativity juice is shut down. Your ability to create, to think things through, to be rational, to find meanings to things. When you lack, when you are riddled, when you are focused, when you are full of negative emotions, it shuts down your ability to think and create things. The emotion of worry, of anxiety, of doubt, of being overwhelmed, of anger, and of guilt, they all work together to create a powerful self-sabotaging cocktail. And when you drink that cocktail, it will intoxicate you. It will hypnotize you into a state of self-pity, into a state where you can't lift a finger, into a position where you can't do anything. It will bring you to a point where you will say, what's the point trying anyway? And you give up on yourself. All because you allow negative emotions to dominate your life. Now, if before now somebody said, oh, your emotions can lead to you giving up, you say, oh, come on, that's silly. You can't say that. But here we are. Because negative emotion will lead to you being worried. It will lead to you being anxious. You will doubt yourself. It will every little thing will overwhelm you, and you'll be fidgeting and shaking and all of that. It will lead to anger and resentfulness. It will build a sense of guilt in you with yourself. You become guilty of yourself. You become angry with yourself. You resent even yourself. And when you bring all of this together, guess what? Not even pina colada can stand it, because now you have a cocktail, a concoction of poison. And as you drink it, it hypnotizes you. It intoxicates you. It puts you in a position where all you can now do is to say, well, whatever will happen, and you give up on yourself. Another negative emotion is being riddled with fear. Fear. Oh no, I can't say that. Oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, for no reason. People are petrified and afraid. For what? Excuse me. Why are you afraid? You are afraid because you've allowed your negative emotion to fester long enough that it's now turned into an uncontrollable fear that has a grip on you and won't let you go. And that fear becomes the vehicle that is driving and dictates your daily decisions and your actions. Thank you. Excuse me. Fear. You know what somebody said? Fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is paying interest on a loan that you have not taken from the bank. That's what fear is. It's paying interest on a loan that you have not taken from the bank. And the funny thing about fear is, most of the things you are afraid of never, ever, ever will never, ever, ever, ever come to pass. But you've spent a better part of your life. Do this. Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm afraid. Say this. Oh, no, I can't say that. I'm scared. Oh, go there. Oh, no, I can't do that. And you spend your whole life under something, under the bondage, under the pressure, under the hold of something that's not even real. Fear will rob you of your life essence, and it will rob you of your desire to succeed. It will rob you of your willingness to even try. It will stop you from pushing past the obstacles that are standing in your way. Fear. fear of rejection, fear of responsibilities, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of fear itself. They will leech you, they will drain you, they will strip you of the energy that you need for the essence of life. Fear. You know where fear comes from? From the inside of you. It will help you, it will make you, it will force you to give up on yourself, to give up on your dream, to give up on your purpose, to give up on life itself. And finally tonight, another self-inflicted, internally generated cause of giving up is when your life is riddled with excuses. Somebody once said, excuse is the tool for the lazy. Excuse is the tool for the lazy. Because all that we have said tonight, all the fears that we've talked about, all the self-sabotaging points that we have highlighted tonight, when you bring them all together, they come into a pot. They are cooked in a pot, and that pot is called excuse. They have built up a reservoir of excuse on the inside of you, and within you, over time, they will start to direct your life. They will start to direct your behavior. They will start to direct your view of life, of things, of what is going on in your life. Excuse, excuse, excuse. But if you are willing, if you are committed, if you are prepared to go to the next level, instead of giving up, to raise up your level, you can actually turn this excuse or these excuses to your benefit. You can turn them to your benefit. You can use this excuse to identify what among these lists that we've identified tonight, which of them is actually likely to cause you to give up. If you pay attention to the excuses that you are making, that you are giving, that you are using to stop yourself from fulfilling, that has become the vehicle, the horse that you are riding, for you to get to your destination. If you can just pay attention to which of these, what is the excuse you are using, it will point you in the direction of which of these self-inflicted and self-sabotaging reasons that is causing you to give up, that is pointing you towards giving up, that is almost making you to throw in the towel. And once you identify, that's it. You knock the 6 out of it and you walk all over it and you go on to become all that you are destined to be. But you have to refuse for excuses to cripple you. How do you do that? You ask yourself these questions. Do my excuses come from a lack of desire? Am I making excuses from a lack of desire? Or my excuses, did they come from a lack of self-belief? Am I using my lack of self-belief as an excuse? Is my excuse a manifestation of my lack of commitment? My excuse, is it a manifestation of my lack of commitment? You see, everything we've said tonight, every point that we have looked at as those things that comes from within you to sabotage you, to stop you from fulfilling your purpose, from reaching your goal, you can use the excuses to identify which of them or how many of them are actually dealing with you and driving you towards the pit that says, give up, give up, give up, give up. So ask yourself, am I making these excuses because I lack the desire, the willingness, the emotional reservoir to see through? Or is it because I lack self-belief? I think I'm not worthy of it. I think I don't have what it takes. I think it is not for people like me. You know where I come from. Is that your excuse? Or your excuses, are they a manifestation of your lack of commitment? Or are you making excuses because you are asking too many why questions? Not why questions that will help you go to the next level, but why questions that are focusing you on your weaknesses and your inabilities and your shortages and your failures. Or are your excuses a result of you focusing on the things you don't want? You remember we said whatever you focus on will develop. Whatever takes predominant in your thought pattern will become your reality. Or are your excuses, are they a result of your negative emotions that are now manifesting themselves as fears? Is that what your excuses are? Ladies and gentlemen, your answer or answers to one or more of these questions will help you to never give up. At least as far as internally generated reasons to give up, if you can identify, if you can answer any of these 5 or 6 questions sincerely, truthfully to yourself, the spirit of giving up will run from you. The answer to this question, or all these questions, your answer, your truthful answer, your sincere answer to, is your excuse a lack of desire? Is it a lack of self-belief? Is it a lack of commitment? Is it because you are allowing wrong emotions to direct your life? Your answer to these questions will stop you from giving up. They will stop you from giving up. They will stop you from caving in. They will stop you from throwing in the towel. They will help you, however, to push through the barriers. So they will help you to scale over the hurdle. They will help you to gather enough strength, to summon enough courage, to commit whatever is required, to become disciplined enough to say, others may drown, I am going to float. Others may give up, but I'm going to remain standing. Others may fall along the way. But guess what? When we arrive at the top of Mount Everest, I will be the ones taking the flag to say, I told you so. Because I'm a winner, I'm not a quitter. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your passion. Don't give up on your ministry, your calling, your marriage, your relationship. Don't give up on your children. But ultimately, in totality, when it's all said and done, whatever you do, whatever you have to contend with, whatever challenge you have to face and overcome, don't give up on life. Don't give up on life. There is a purpose for your life. There's a reason for your life. There's a destination that is set before you. Don't quit. don't quit on it. Because when we arrive at that destination, when we arrive at that destination, when the fulfillment of your dream is in your hand, when the totality of your pursuit is within your grasp, when the achievement that you have paid for, you have sweated over, when it is in your grasp, every man and woman, every boy and girl, old and young, that will see you, that will see me, they will have no choice but to say, surely, without the question of a doubt, without any shadow of doubt, they will have to declare and decree that surely these are better men and better women, because we refuse to give up on ourselves, to give up on life, to give up on our dreams. Don't give up. Don't give up. It's not an option. Thank you so much for being part of tonight's program. It's been an honor to share this with you. I can't tell you how excited I am about this topic, because I have witnessed a lot of lives, a lot of dreams, a lot of passion, a lot of commitment, a lot of purpose that has gone down the drain because the owner decided to give up, to let go of their conviction. Don't be one of them. As for me, I refuse to give up. Whatever life has got to throw at me, bring it on, because I am well able. There is more in me than what the world or the life or anything can throw, because there's a greater one on the inside of me, and it's also on the inside of you. So thank you once again for being part of today's program. We're going to continue on this same topic next week. Tell somebody about it. And peradventure you have not liked or shared tonight's program, why don't you do that just now? Just click the share button. Be a blessing to somebody. Let somebody see what you have seen. Let somebody else hear what you have heard tonight. They will thank you for it. And in advance, I'm thanking you for doing just that. Until we meet again next week, this is Tunde Disu saying, have a wonderful rest of the week and the weekend. And I'll see you on the Become a Better Man platform sometime next week. Good night. God bless you. Bye-bye.